Hey everybody, welcome to the Anthony and Todd Show. My name is Trevor.
I'm Vincent.
And today we're going to be taking a look at the latest Sneaks record, Highway Hypnosis.
That's a really deep version of it.
Well, okay.
Like bass-centric version.
Highway Hypnosis.
That's better.
Thank you. Sneaks is a post-punk minimalistic outfit from Washington, D.C., headed up by their lead vocalist and really just, I guess, artistic director, Eva Mulkin. She has, what?
Mostly known for, like, mixing, like, pop and hip-hop into one, like, post-punk blend. It's a really strange idea / concept that I feel like in this form hasn't been touched before, which is weird to say because at the surface it doesn't seem like too out there. But when you get into it, I think the ideas she's kind of toying with are actually super out there.
I don't even think that, like, pop and hip-hop is, like, a good...
It's not
even a good, like, description. I don't even think, like, minimalistic post-punk is a good description for this either. Because, like, it's trying to describe something like Death Grips, or it's trying to describe something like Caro Caro Bonito or JPEG Mafia, and that kind of thing is just, like, it's extremely difficult to
Caro Caro Bonito is easy.
Pinpoint.
It's just don't have me, I'm scared for weebs. I've told you this before.
It's anime music for the common people. But Highway Hypnosis is Sneaks' latest effort into, like, a more ambitious kind of soundscape. And throughout this whole record, we're getting some, like, fuller length tracks that I think are, like, more fleshed out, and then we're getting some, like, weird, almost like designer New English kind of, like, snippets of just, like, literally one line repeated over and over and over again for like 55 to a minute, 55 seconds to a minute,
55 hours
55 hours to a minute.
But, like, over the course of this entire thing, I'm actually really surprised because it takes so many, like, different shades and forms. You got, like, the first track, Highway Hypnosis, which is essentially just a trap track. Then you move on to The Way It Goes, which is this like weird, eccentric, like, MIA / like Santigold track.
Oh, 100%.
And then you got, like, this weird blend of, like, almost like pop meets, like, post-punk, where it's, like, really slow, like almost like a King Cruel track. Then you go on to later where you got Holy Cow, Never Saw a Girl Like Her, and We're Off and A Little Close, which is a speeding bullet to heaven by Kid Cudi, but in a form that I actually really enjoy. And then you get, like, this weird, like, almost EDM hit banger at the end, Hong Kong to Amsterdam. There's just so many, like, styles and different excursions through this entire thing.
Yeah.
I feel like while I'm really unsure about a lot of the tracks on here, I think her head's in the right place. She's in this experimental mind space, and I'm, like, really interested in that and all the different turns she's trying to take us to. But there's a lot of filler on here.
Oh,
and some of these tracks could have been, like, 55 seconds, but they go on for, like, 2.5 minutes.
A lot of them are, like, 55 seconds. Like, basically, the way I look at it and the way I listen to it is basically, if it was a fleshed out track, then I think it was, like, actually a decent track. Case in point, The Way It Goes. Completely based in, like, a very, like, anime heavy sounding, like, intro with that, like, super
Like,
just
scratchy bass,
yeah,
like spliced bass. That
it's just
yeah,
yeah,
like the Dexter's Lab theme.
I know that from somewhere. I cannot pinpoint that sample, but I know it from somewhere. It reminds me a lot of, like, the Powerpuff Girls.
That's
like,
what
intro.
I was gonna say. I didn't know Dexter's Lab.
It reminds me of the Powerpuff Girls intro. That whole track reminds me of, like a Powerpuff Girls song.
Yeah.
But then, like, we'll get into tracks like I guess that's Addie's. I guess it starts with Addie's, where I'm just like, this track is really boring, and it's very, like, simplistic. It's super, like, dance hall inspired, which I don't really care for, like,
but it's
dance
also,
hall
like,
to begin
really
with.
lurking.
Yeah,
it's just lingering. It's just, like, there for too long.
Yeah, it's there for too long. We get into Set It Zonza, where it's the same Set It Zonza, Set It Zonza, Set It Zonza, repeated over and over and over
it's
again.
It's just very nonchalantly there, and it wants you to pay attention to it, but you just want it to go away.
Yeah, basically. And then Money Don't Grow on Trees, which I actually enjoyed. That's a little more of a fleshed out track that kind of, like, pops up, or, like, the valley, and then then we go back down again. Cinnamon I find to be one of the weakest moments on here. Holy Cow, Never Saw a Girl Like Her. definitely doesn't need to be on here, but I also think it's like
enjoy it.
it's funny and it's weird, and it's like
It's just like acoustic guitar punk style, and that's what I wanted from like some of the instrumentation in here, just to be like nonsensical.
basically like
As much as I joked about the Kid Cudi speeding bullet to heaven thing, like that's actually a thing I really want her to touch more on because I actually like the sound of it. I think it really complements her vocals really well.
It's just like this album, I never know like where it's going to go, and for that reason I like parts of it, but for that reason I just straight up don't like parts of it, because I think that, like you said, Sneaks takes a lot from other female artists like Santa Gold and MIA, these like really powerful females of the music world, making like specifically this type of music that are she's taking like a lot of influence from, and I think that that's a huge positive. We're getting some really creative and fun and rubbery, sticky tracks like that just get stuck in your head. But then we're also getting like very dance hall inspired stuff towards the middle, where I'm like, I could kind of go without this. I'm not a huge fan of dance hall. It slows down. It loses a lot of energy. But then like we'll get to like Money Don't Grow on Trees, and it feels like very like faux Eastern, faux like Japanese culture, I guess, in the vein of somebody like Damon Albarn or Cara Bonito, that are making this like very like Japanese centric music without actually being like in Japanese. Well, I guess Cara Bonito is also like Japanese, but not like not all the time. You just get that feeling. They're using like Eastern tuning and like a lot of instrumentation, like the pan flute and stuff like that. But then, like you said, we get later into these like weird, like very like American punk kind of songs, like "Holy cow, never saw a girl like her, never saw a girl like her." I'm like, this is
Dumb,
Kid
but
Cudi. I'm like, Cudi, where'd you come from? And then later on, we'll get to like Hong Kong to Amsterdam, like you said, like very almost like Eastern
like
EDM, like European EDM.
it's like club. What's the other term? Not club music.
House music.
House music. Yeah.
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. Everyone's coming over to my clubhouse.
It feels. I understand, I think, where she was going with this, like the very like highway travel kind of sound. The same kind of deal that the Avalanches were going for on Since I Left You. What all about, like, a lover getting stopped at different places around the world, and it takes from all these different like soundscapes across the map. This feels like have you seen those like videos where somebody will like put a camera on the front of a car and they'll just drive all night and through like a big city, and then it'll be like fast forwarded, and you'll like watch all these blinking lights and stuff change. It's like the fast city life. That's what this reminds me of. Like, this whole record reminds me of like if you were driving around Tokyo at 500 miles an hour at night, you're seeing all these different signs and like neon things passing you. I just never know where this record's going to go. So the fleshed out moments, I think, are actually really fun and get that moment across. It's the pathways to those moments that don't make any sense.
Yeah.
And I don't like.
I think for the most part, my basic summary of this, I like the length. I like that it's 28 minutes. I like the style of lengths of tracks she's messing with. But some of them can be shorter and some of them can be more fleshed out.
Yeah.
I think overall her head is in the right space with this experimentation and the mix of different styles, but she needs to stay away from moments where she comes off as too nonchalant and too just like, look at me, I'm here, present, anti-cool because I can say this one word over and over again. And she needs to like embrace more of the punk, embrace more of like this weird like, I guess, trance style music like on the way it goes, where it's just very like indicative of these larger sounds and kind of what is the term, over
easy.
Yeah, no, or easy like an egg. Kind of like you get like lost in it in a sense. It just kind of overconsumes you. You're just becoming one
Overtakes you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you're gonna make a record like this, it's like the destinations make sense, but the paths to get to the destination isn't making sense. Like almost like when you're in an elementary school and you did a math problem, like a math word problem, and it says like explain your work or show your work. I see the final product, but I don't see the work, and that's where I'm getting lost. So I mean, I'm really liking a lot of the ideas presented here. I think that the execution on some of these like more fleshed out tracks, like I said, are just phenomenal. I'm super excited to see what she has to do next and what she will do next. But like I said, the pathways to get there aren't gelling with me right now.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what she does next, as well as Trevor is. So I think we're just gonna leave it there. Till next time, guys. I have been Vincent.
I am Trevor.
And see you, boys.
Bye, everybody.